Hello, 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 and welcome to Dear Dana. Hello. Yes, I'm late. Hey, Sarah McCluskey. Hey there, professional paranormal research. Please check them both out on their YouTube channels. Thank you for coming on a Sunday night. Breathe in and shake up and shake off all the stress from the week. Happy Labor Day weekend. Hope everybody's having a good time and stay safe. Inhale to the count of 4 and exhale to the count of 4.
Issues in my head. I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh,
inhale to the count of 4 through your nose.
Text or I'll come off desperate.
Exhale to the count of 4 through your mouth. I can't believe it's already September. Can you believe it's already September? OMG. And it's not quite as hot here. Hey, Unapologetically Romeo, please check him out as well. When the weather flips on a dime like that, I'm happy about it, but it puts my body into a tither. And I experience all that kind of pain, Barometric pressure and weather affects me. So I'm happy about the weather. Not so happy about how it affects my body. I was dealing with pain yesterday, but my sweet daughter and my adopted second daughter, I consider her, she invited her mother here, and they planned on us going to either taste wine or beer at this specialty place and then going to have dinner. We went on a rooftop, and I had a grape ale because I'm not really a beer drinker. So I thought I would test out that grape ale. Hey, Willow, Paranormal Witch. And I tasted out the grape ale. I drank about half of it. But it was very nice on that rooftop. You could oversee the city, and the breeze was blowing. And we had our daughters there. And they were playing around with Snapchat filters and crap. And I had not seen her mother since Kennedy was about 10 or so. And I faintly remembered that. So we got acquainted again. And her mom is a 911 operator. So there was a lot of interesting conversation. So it was nice. We got to spend time with our daughters and stuff. But I came straight home and just put on my slumpy clothes again and relax. So it was nice, but I forced myself out, but it was very nice being with the girls. It was girls' night out. Let me tell you, it was so funny. There's bars and clubs and restaurants and stuff out there, and we're walking away from the rooftop. And as the four of us are walking, this guy, I'm sure he's had a few drinks, and he steps out and he goes, "Hey," to me. He goes, "Hey, how are you doing?" I'm saying, "I'm doing fine. How are you?" He's still talking at me, and he goes, "Ooh, you smell good." And I said, "Thank you." My daughter is getting all tensed up. And she was like, if he kept on, Mom, if he kept on, I was about to have to go in it with him. I was about to have to kick his ass. I said, "You need to stop worrying, Eden." If I was in trouble, my adrenaline would kick in. I guess he was flirting, but it was harmless. He wasn't coming in at me. He wasn't saying nasty things. We just kept going. Hello, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt. So, I mean, what are you going to do? I'm old as Methuselah. It was kind of nice. He didn't do anything inappropriate, but it was so funny how my daughter responded. You know what I mean? She got in high level protection mode. But anyway, it was a nice night. It was a nice night. Sarah says my dad is still falling a lot. My papa witnessed my dad fall 2 times yesterday and said I didn't know you fall twice. His legs just give out on him. So sorry, Sarah. Still sending prayers your way. I'm assuming you did not get the birthday box yet. The mail must be really slow. Yeah, probably, Romeo. But she doesn't need to protect me. It probably has my husband's name on the postage because he printed out the postage from home, Sarah. But yeah, Lord, it should be there by now. We mailed it Monday. Hey, Shay B. Yeah, I can see that. But this is my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, she thinks I can't handle myself. He didn't come after me. I probably could have pushed him and he hit the concrete. I'm thinking, maybe. But welcome, welcome, everybody. Um, how many of you remember your first love? How many of you remember your first love? Your first, really, where you just gave your heart. Willie says, my sons are small, but they're protective of me from people they don't know. I can imagine. Who are you asking? Didn't know you were married. How long was you married? Who are you referring to, Ramel? Gotcha, Willow. Sarah says, mail is slow there. Grandpa mailed your t-shirt. Amazon Prime messed up when delivering it. That's not good. You want to forget every crush you had? Now, look, you can have crushes and not end up the way you want because a lot of relationships or crushes don't always turn out the way you want, but that initial feeling is a good feeling. Well, that's good too, Romeo. If you can close your eyes and think about your first like or your first love or your first crush, and think about that feeling it elicited in you, that excitement when you see them or they were coming around the corner, and that feeling in your body, all right, and that adrenaline it would pump up, you could bring it back to yourself. That's cool, Sarah. You can bring it back to yourself. Now, Willow, you cannot experience crush or love in any aspect. You would have to have had a good feeling in the very beginning. We're talking about the very beginning. So now I want to ask you in the chat, what is your definition of love? At this point in your life, what is your definition of love? What does love mean to you? What is your definition of love? Do you know? Come on, guys. I want to know too. What is your definition of love? Oh no. Somebody's got to tell me. What is your definition of love? The lead singer of Smash Mouth is not doing well at all. 56 years old. It looks like he is at the end of his life. Not good, not good. If anybody remembers the group Smash Mouth, if anybody knows who Eugenia Cooney is, finally there's big discussion because trigger warning. If you've ever had ED, wrestled with ED, know about ED, she has finally got to the point where every bone in her body is showing. Yep, Jimmy Buffett died. That's sad. I think he was 76. But she is still on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, dancing and carrying on, and every bone in her body is exposed. No fat on her body whatsoever. And people want her banned. Now, creators usually have free will to talk about mostly what they want, but she is at the point her family is doing nothing. And where does it come to a point where we are watching somebody literally get to the point where they are putting their life at risk and no one does a thing? Is my question. It's utterly terrifying. But back to love. What is your definition of love? Can no one answer that? Hardcore pawn. Is that what you mean, Sarah? Like pawning stuff? Or did you mean another word? I'm confused. I hope you mean pawn. OMG. Do you mean pawn? Like pawning your necklaces and goods to get money? Is that what you mean? So, anyway, I think love is eternal. Paranormal says, I think love is eternal and it doesn't humiliate you. Love is supposed to make you feel like you belong. Yeah. And it's supposed to show you unconditional positive regard, in my opinion. It doesn't mean that you don't always agree, that you always agree. It doesn't mean that. But in something I'm studying, written by George Kappas, there are two major personality types, the physical and the emotional, and it doesn't mean what you would generally think in your everyday life. Emotional personality types are more people that put their career first, and love and sex are like fourth, and then relationships are probably third, and physicals, relationships and sex are first, and kids and family are second, and careers are probably third, right? Um, Emotionals take messages in an inferred way. Like if a guy were to say to, if my husband were to say to me, "Oh, I like you in that dress. You look very beautiful in that dress," my mind might go, "Well, what was wrong with the dress I wore the other day? Does that mean you didn't like me in that one?" I might overthink it. Where someone that's a physical might take it exactly as he said it, take it for face value. You get what I'm saying? Physical people are literal people. They take things literally. They like to be more physical. And hey, Nora, the Stock Explorer, and be more social. Where emotionals are probably more in their head thinking. So here's the deal. Here's the funny thing. A lot of people, when they go on this dating site, will put up their they'll put up their thing about themselves and might put, I like reading books and being in nature and animals, right? And they try to attract people that like the same stuff. Thank you, professional paranormal research. But that's the problem. You don't want to attract people that are just like you, because it may be fun in the moment, but it's not going to last, baby. It's not going to last. You want to attract really an emotional an emotional suggestible or an emotional personality wants to attract a physical suggestible personality, an opposite. That's why they go opposites attract. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now you don't want to go too extreme, where they say, "Oh, you like to attract the bad boys or the bad girls." You don't want to go too extreme because that's trouble. Hey, April Showers, sweet, sweet, sweet one. Please check out her channel. You don't want to attract the extreme, the troublemakers. Thank you. My plate's so full. Oh, it's so full. You don't want to attract the extreme. You don't want to attract the extreme, the troublemakers, because you can see that coming from a mile off. But you do want to attract the opposite that can teach you things or encourage you to be out of your box. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I might not try something that's I haven't done before, but if my partner is someone that would do that and I trust them, I might be more apt to step out of my box and do something with them because I love and trust them. Does that make sense? There has to be balance. Like, for instance, my husband, he is definitely a physical. He is one of the most literal persons I've ever met in my life. He takes everything literally. Literally. But I also know that is a man that would never cheat on me. You ask me how I know. I just know that I know that I know that I know. Now, am I, do I show, how do I say this? Do I show love and hugs and all that stuff? I do. But when I think about it, he's way more affectionate than I am. He probably hugs on me and gives me a kiss and says I love you multiple times a day. Do I just go out of my way to give hugs and kisses and say I love you multiple times a day? No. I respond back with it, but I am not the type of person, unless it's my child or baby, I'm not the type of person that does that. So your wife probably is, corner Clubhouse Cobalt. I'm guessing if her personality is to be more affectionate. Okay, Mark, does she take things More inferentially or more literally, would you say? Is she a literal person? If somebody says something to her, or if you tell her something, does she take everything literally, would you say? And you're not real affectionate. You're probably an emotional. Literal. So she would be a physical suggestible, and you would be an emotional suggestible. A book that would help give you a lot of aha moments, I'm going to tell you. And initially, it might be hard to wrap your brain around, but it makes so much dang sense. And I'm reading it from my class, but it helps when you're looking at people, even if they're not trying to find a mate. You can cull people out, not call, cull, cull. I mean, like, figure their personalities out and everything. You can figure out what people are going to make it in a partnership and what people probably are not going to make it. I mean, it's built on theory, but Lord have mercy. I mean, he is deceased now. But let me tell you, do you remember Mrs. Brady from the Brady Bunch? She was initially his student, and she ended up becoming his wife, his second wife. And he was her second husband. It's kind of amazing. Seriously. So if you get the book, now holy crap, where's the name of my book now? It's called E&P Relationships, I think. Let's see if I can find it. It's not showing me E&P. Relationship Strategies. John Capish. The E&P Attraction. Wait a minute, I'll put it in the trash. In the trash. No, Dana. Your brain just went bleep. If you, yeah, Florence Henderson. I was watching a past video on a class he did with patients, and I was like, whoa, there's Mrs. Brady in class. It's called Relationship Strategies, the E&P Attraction by John G. Kappas. It's crazy. When you understand that about yourself and your partner, if you ever get argumentative with them, you will understand so much more about them and yourself. I help you pick, Nora. If anybody's a terrible picker and they're looking, all you have to do is, even if you're on some of those apps, show me and I tell you no or yes. Look, I told my brother, my younger brother, who was coming down the pike for him, what they looked like and what they did for a living before they even came. I've had people come to me and show me potentials they were going to date, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. Not just looking at pictures, but some of the info. If you're going, oh, they're cute. Oh, they like to do that. Some people go just by the looks because they're attracted by the looks and they see one or two little things. And, their libido gets all kicked up And that's a huge place they go wrong. Nope, nope, and nope. Willow, part of it doesn't happen to you because A, you isolate, B, you don't like to show yourself, C, you are very hard on yourself, very, very, very hard on yourself. Your mindset has to switch. I can help you with all that. You won't let me. I could help you with that. What's hot, Nora? Are you talking to me? You talking to somebody else? You could be very lucky in love, Willow. You could be. You were very difficult on yourself. You can't go by old things. So much of your problem, Willow, is how you think about yourself. I know you're happy to see others happy, but you are worthy of love too. Everybody deserves love, and there's somebody for everyone that could be good to them. You know what I mean? And when I met my husband, I did not think he was my type. That's the whole thing, though. My type had gotten me in trouble in the past. You get what I'm saying? What I thought was my type had gotten me in trouble. Especially the pretty boys. Sometimes you have to look outside of what you think your type is, or let somebody more objective help you. You know what I'm talking about? Because you have some core things in you that need to be filled. And you also have some things in you that are called non negotiables. Who knows what I mean when I say non negotiables? And those are things you need to look at first and foremost. Those are things in your life that no matter what, you will not deviate from in a relationship because they are too important. Exactly, paranormal, professional paranormal research concerning Willow. There are non negotiables in your life that when you are connecting with another person, you need to not step away from thinking, well, I'll give on this. Let's say it's your spirituality or your love for animals or that this partner must have a job or good credit or maybe you want a child down the line. But all of a sudden, you find out they don't want to have children and you think, I can get them to change their mind. Nope, nope, and nope. Those things are non negotiables. You have to know that crap right out of the gate. Don't think you're going to change anybody. They have a right to how they feel just like you do. So if you know this stuff out of the gate, say, I liked meeting you. It was great. See you. Bye. Don't waste your time. And don't try to say, ooh, they gorgeous. You are absolutely right. I dropped the link in case anybody wanted to come up with me. Especially before you get married. These things, after the third or fourth date, if you are looking, because you are an adult, and looking for serious relationships, not just hookups, these things should be discussed by the third or fourth date. No shit. Oh, sorry. They should be discussed by the third or fourth date. You don't want to keep dating, and get months into it and realize they do not want the same thing you do. Exactly, Willow. She said she likes people that are passionate for the things they care for. For instance, I didn't know, I was told I couldn't have children. It was 9.5 years in before I actually got to have a child. Now, by the time I had Noah, my first husband was acting up worse than ever. While I was literally having Noah, and we were actually about to pass away, but we made it. All of it was weird. Too long of a story. But I knew literally when we survived while I was having him that I was getting a divorce. Yeah, no, right? BBR. While I was having Noah, I knew I was getting divorced. Didn't have I was just trying to survive, but I knew I was. And then when I met Steven, he was and is one of the best humans I've ever known. But I thought we'd end up just being friends. But he wasn't going to let me get away, he said. He was doing everything in his power to try to reel me in, keep me in that hypnotic state, try to reel me in before I could do anything to change my mind. He didn't use the word hypnotic state, but he used all the other words. He said he was trying to reel me in, make me feel safe as quickly as he could before I could change my mind. Everything was just otherworldly in what happened in our connection. It was even bigger than us. Because typically he wouldn't have been my type. He was very calm, very kind, very loving, connected with Noah immediately. Noah knew. Noah knew. Stephen intuitively knew how to help and be there for Noah. And I was terrified because I could feel it was something bigger than us. I was scared to death. And you should be scared to death. It's a serious thing. If they are so much like you and you're having fun and doing the same things, hey, Michelle Cannon Free, if they are so much like you and you're having a blast and doing the same things and hooking up, 95% chance you're not going to last. 95% chance you're not going to last. Absolutely, Willow. If people were the same, the world would be boring. They need to be more opposite than you. If you are an emotional suggestible, they pretty much me to be a physical suggestible. And again, I don't mean the literal definition in the way you are used to. Physical suggestible means more literal and more wide open and more um, expressive and stuff. Emotional is more inferential, more within. I'm a 65, 70 emotional to 35 the other, but I've been hypnotized a lot. So I'm almost more middle ground than I used to be. But then again, when you talk about today, Enid and I were talking about, I may seem extroverted in a lot of ways, but I'm really an extroverted introvert. I'm really introverted in a lot of ways. I don't know if that comes across to people, but I really am very introverted in a lot of ways. I can be by myself a lot, and I am. And I can be very in my head. That's why I love studying and school so much and soaking up information. So I'm probably too introverted in a lot of ways. Ooh, who is that scaring me half to death? Hey, Corner Clubhouse Cobalt.
What's happening?
So glad you came up. What do you think about this conversation?
Very interesting. When you were talking about the literal part and the emotional, that really hit, really got my attention.
Yeah, I mean it starts ringing bells. It takes a second to start wrapping your brain around it. You know what I mean? But it does start ringing some bells. And you're like, okay. So that's what's going on. But you're like, but what about this? I don't understand. Because when we were talking about it the other day, I saw little pieces of myself in both, but I still was more of an emotional
Mm, interesting.
because I'm not overtly as affectionate as Steven is with my babies and stuff, with the animals. But I'll be studying and he'll literally come up, rub my back, give me a kiss, say, I love you. I'm
Hmm.
proud of you for all the hard work you're doing. And he'll do it a few times a day. And I sat there and thought about that as we were talking about EMP. And I felt crappy because I thought, he's the one that does it all the time, so much more than me.
Hmm.
And he's the one that's um, the IT specialist, you know?
Oh, right. Yeah. So you don't think he would be that type of, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you would think I would be more like
Yeah.
that. But I see myself going more in my head, right?
Hmm.
And I know when I met him, I had Noah. But prior to Noah, I was very career driven. And that was more important to me than relationships with the opposite sex. You know, it was career, and then it was career trying to find stability, and then it was sex and relationships, and then kids and family in that order. But with physicals, it's sex and relationships, it's family, and then it's career. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So it's on the flip flop. And that shocked me because I'm a very spiritual person. I love my family. I love my kids. But, my life had to do a switch after I had Noah because my son was very rare, had medical needs. You get what I'm saying? But prior to that, I was just like on a career path. So it messed with my brain a little bit, learning about emotional and physical.
Now,
And
how do you equate that with a like a Myers Briggs type of? I mean, was there?
personality test,
Yeah, I mean, or would
I still can kind of see it. I mean, with the Myers Briggs, it had, because mine was the kind of rare one, it had my spirituality and the giftedness in it, but I was still very, with the intelligence and the career driven thing in there. I could see it, the bits and pieces. But these are still two different things
uh,
because this was new theory, and he was given awards for this theory prior to his death because he became a doctor and he was a well-known hypnotherapist, and that's why his school became accredited
hmm,
because of all his new theories and stuff. It's the only accredited hypnotherapy school in the whole United States
huh,
because of Dr. Kappas.
imagine.
And like I said, I had been trained in hypnosis in my graduate school, but I had never uh, been trained like I'm being trained now. And there's stuff in 28 semesters in a year. I'm very impressed with the stuff I'm learning. And this EMP stuff has thrown me for a loop
Hmm.
because I think if people learn about it, they will look at their relationships in a whole different way, and it will take away a lot of arguments and create a lot of peace in relationships. And it will also make people's pickers a hell of a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Because when they started talking about, these apps people try to find dates and relationships on, I thought, bingo. Oops, what happened? Are you still on?
I'm still here.
I can't. Oh, just something to your face for a minute. I thought bingo because they're going, hey, April, this is who I am. And basically they're going, I want a replica of me.
Huh.
And that's what they're getting. That's what the algorithm is trying to send them. And that's why the biggest um, portion of the people that are getting sent to them, these dates aren't working out. And I'm hearing it all the time. They're getting crappy dates and they're complaining about it because they need, like I said, don't go to the extreme and get these partiers and these weirdos. They need the opposite of themselves. So when they're putting stuff on the app, they need to alter it.
They need a EMP algorithm.
Well, yeah, but they also they need to alter it in such a way that they're attracting the opposite of themselves. Like alter the wording and think about what would be the opposite of me that would fall into place and be interesting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, now that you think of it, yeah.
And then you have bingo. Like, I'd like to learn about this. That would be the opposite of me. I'd be interested in a guy that does this. That would be the opposite of me. Or does this and could get me out of my shell. And then you would have a lot of good relationships coming out of it. If I knew somebody that built an app, we would make some money,
Oh
honey.
yeah, yeah,
I
definitely.
need
That's
I need to be like Shin go find somebody. But that makes so much sense. I don't want myself, well, I'm married now, but I don't want myself in a relationship. I'm disorganized. You know, there's a method to my madness and it works for me. But I think I'd hurt somebody that was just like me, that was all over the place, because I don't need that. I need somebody that's calmer, that has a method that's more organized.
it's almost like a putting the pieces of puzzle together. You can't put the same exact puzzle. You know, you still have to. You know,
Yeah. I mean, how is your wife different to you? How long have you been married?
it will be 6 years this
Okay.
October.
Would you say you and she fit, kind of?
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah, definitely.
So
I
how
probably
is
didn't at first. I didn't think that. At first, maybe, but after time, yes.
how is she different from you that complements you, makes it work?
Um, I guess it's not always boring because it's always somebody sort of different, a little different than you. So you're not, like I said, you're not talking to a mirror all the time.
Yeah.
So you have some differences, and it's good to have some differences. Uh, I'm trying to think of the right way of putting it, but I was trying to use that puzzle part as a to sort of describe it, but um, it would be very boring, if that's the right word to put on, if like I said, if you were with a person who was just a mirror of yourself. It just, I don't know if people out there realize that, they're not really thinking about that. This EMP, if people maybe read it or they found out about it, they might, you know.
I mean, he passed his book to somebody that he was dating, and they found out they were the same, both emotional, so they knew it wasn't going to work. They were laughing about it. But the person he had read it, the date he had read it, she passed it to her brother and her dad and her mom and a friend. And they all read it because it made so much sense. And the thing of it is, again, every little nuance isn't going to apply, but it's such an aha moment. Because like Stephen and I'm not going to say that we never get on each other's nerves,
Oh,
because we do. That's normal. That's
same here.
human. That's just a human thing. You live with somebody, it's going to happen. But we've been married, it will be November 22 years.
Hmm.
No, maybe we've already been married 22 years. Okay, keep up. We have never had a knockdown, drag out argument. Ever. Not that we always agree. We don't. We've gotten a little, I don't, blah, 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 that kind of thing. But
Hmm.
we've never had a knockdown, drag out. He's never called me an ugly name, nor have I. Ever. Now, that's almost unheard of. Because I can tell you my first marriage was hell. More than. It was a movie of the week. It was bad. Um, every once in a while, I'll still get a trigger. But this literally is not perfect by any stretch, but this is almost unheard of. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
In that many years,
Oh, sure.
somebody might call you some name, even if it's dummy or something like that. Never, never has. So that just goes to show you. And like I said, there was some supernatural stuff going on if you hear the whole story,
Hmm.
because I was terrified after I realized, I had to come to Jesus talk, and then at the end I was like, and by the way, I like European men. Do you think you can do that? Seriously. And I was thinking, well, like Italian, French. No, I got sent Danish. My husband's Danish. This happened 4 days later. He had tried to lease my childhood home in another state and then moved back 20 miles from me, and we accidentally met each other.
Oh,
But it's a big, long story. No time to tell all of it. But I'm just saying, you can't make this up. But he happened to be Danish. I didn't even have Danish in there. I mean, yeah, I can't get you European. Here, just Danish.
yeah, sure.
Funny on me. But, it's like, we're like Danish Lucy and Ricky. Except he doesn't get hot headed like Ricky. But yeah, things have to kind of fit. And people don't think about that. And like the conversations you and I said need to be had early on if you're potentially thinking about this turning into a real relationship. It doesn't matter how much you like each other if these what did I call it earlier? Where you're not going to change your mind, non negotiables,
No, go.
are important to you. If your religion's important to you, if having children is important to you, finance,
It's huge.
you can't just go, oh, but you're so cute and I love you. We'll deal with that later. These things break up marriages. You got to deal with it now. So those are things people just kind of, if people do not want children, you are not going to think you can change their mind 2 years down the road.
I agree. Yeah.
Some people are just not made for that. And ultimately, you will be writing the divorce papers down the road.
Yeah.
But,
That's something you best handle before you get married. That's definitely. Yeah. Yeah. That's a big one.
I mean, I bet you, how what percentage of people would you fathom to gamble do not have these conversations?
Most. It's like you said. We'll handle it down the road. We'll kick the can down the road. Handle it down.
Yeah. And then you have a lot of people that let their sexual organs
Hmm.
overload their brain and get in these relationships fast before the dust settles and they have a chance to use their actual brain. And that's a big problem. And it's women as much as men. I'm not going to just put it on guys. And here's the other thing. People that are physical, this isn't just men, people that are physical suggestible cheat because they are emotionally hurt. Now remember, these are the literal people, the people that put sex and relationships first, and then family and all that stuff. People that are physical suggestibles cheat because they are emotionally hurt. And they almost want to get caught. So you will know how deeply they are hurt. And that's why they slip up. Interesting. Yeah?
Definitely is. Yeah.
People that are emotionally suggestible, remember these people that look for inferences. Like if you say, hey, buddy, you did a really good job on that task at work today. And they might get internally PO'd thinking, hey, but what about the job I did the other day? Are you saying I'm slack? That might be what they're thinking in their head. Because they're inferring, what do you really mean by that? Instead of taking it literally that you're giving them a compliment. That's how an emotional might take it, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. Are you like that at times?
Yes.
Okay. So, an emotional suggestible person might cheat because needs are not being filled. Their emotional needs or sexual needs or physical needs, there are needs that are not being filled. So odds are they'll cheat and never get caught and not want their marriage or relationship to end. They're the ones that'll cheat and not get caught, and it could go on forever and ever and ever. And you might see those as maybe the richer people or the richer guys that have a sugar baby or a mistress on the side and just keep them forever and continue to have their marriage. Or a woman, but they don't get caught, don't feel guilty usually, and they just have that need to feel. They look at it as, okay, I feel empty here, so I'm going to fill that spot so I don't feel that anymore and just move forward. Now, personally, I think I've shifted too much to the middle in some way. I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
Because I've gotten too spiritual and I care too much. And, sometimes you can shift over time. I've become a shifter because I've become deeply spiritual through my life and over time and worked on myself a lot. Things can shift. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, definitely.
Willow says they're called a sociopath. No, Willow. That doesn't mean they're a sociopath. That just means um, physical suggestibles are more in touch with their body. Their emotions and their body are kind of tied together. Does that make sense? Their emotions and their body are tied together. So if they're intimate with someone, they don't just feel it physically, they feel it emotionally. Where an emotional suggestible, if they're intimate with someone, it might take a day or two to process it. If it's a new relationship or anything like that. It's not the same thing, Willow. It just might mean over time, if things have gone all right at home and there hasn't been a discussion between partners where they can get back on track, That's what actually needs to happen. The partners need to talk and get back on track. If both partners understand the EMP thing, that need can be filled and they can get back on track. But a lot of times people let too much time go by and they don't work to get back on track when people don't communicate, when partners don't communicate. Does that make sense?
Definitely does. Yes, I agree.
I mean, back in the 50s, that's how they rolled. Let's be honest. You had people get married in the 40s, 50s. Um, things, someone might have been an emo, and they didn't have a need filled, and they might get a mistress on the side and fill that need and do their job, and their wife was doing their thing, and they didn't care as long as it didn't interfere with the household. That happened all the time. And you saw that in political figures and movie stars all the time. They'd have a mistress on the side and they would keep their household and their wife. Didn't divorce. Heck, Tom Jones. We've seen him on America's Got Talent, I think. America's Got Talent or one of those. Maybe so, The Voice. He stayed married to his wife until she passed away in 2016. Never divorced her. But in his lifetime, he had multiple affairs. Multiple. And she knew about most of them. It was out there in the public. Never divorced him. So, odds are, what would you say he was, an emotional or physical?
I was gonna say emotional though. I don't know. It sounds emotional to me.
Yeah, it does. I mean, people probably knew only because he was famous.
Yeah.
But it does sound emotional because she stuck around.
Yeah.
But you hear how this stuff kind of makes sense?
Yeah. I do. I mean, yeah. Before tonight, I probably wouldn't even think about it. And now you sort of, when you bring it up, it's like you start thinking, you're thinking a different way, and you're like, oh, yeah, I never thought that before, but I can see how that could make it that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you start looking at people, and you can look at famous people and think, who's the emotional, who's the physical? And how does this break down? Hey, Virginia Wolf, how are you doing? I was thinking about you today, thinking, I need to have a second session with you. By the way, by the end of September, I am doing a soft launch of my private practice because by the end of December, I'm hoping to do a hard launch. Right now, I'm trying to find there's supposed to be grants for women starting businesses in the United States. I'm trying to find a grant so I can get a brick and mortar office because I'll have an online office for Zoom, and I just want like a one room office
Mm-hmm.
to see hypnotherapy clients because I don't need a big old
Right.
building.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. But I know that there are grants for that because my husband goes, well, we can get investors. And I'm thinking, why do I want an investor that gets a third of everything I make? That doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Because then they get a third of everything I make online. That sure doesn't feel right. I don't want to owe people like that. Would you?
No.
Does that make sense to you? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I know what you said exactly. Yeah, something that you would be doing, you don't want to have to, you know, worry about what this other person thinks of that, every little detail and everything, because it's not worth it. It's just you
Yeah,
want
I
to be
don't
able to
want.
do what you want to do freely and the way you feel it needs to be done.
Yeah, I don't want to have to answer or owe anybody,
Hmm.
answer to or owe anybody, because they don't know what I'm doing. First of all, a lot of people don't understand hypnotherapy, and some people are scared of it. So when it is actually nowadays, people that do surgery in the medical community are wanting it and embracing it. So I have to go around explaining it all the time. Do you understand it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is important these days. Whereas if you asked me 10 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, whatever, you know. But now that I've been following you and all that, different live streams you've had, I think about it more often now, and I think that yes, I
Thank
think it's
you.
very important. No, I mean that's an honest opinion. I'm not just saying that though.
I mean, when you can go in and do things more effectively. Now,
Hmm.
I'm not saying all medication's bad. I have to take medication for MS and stuff.
Hmm.
There are things I need. But when you can go in and you're very skilled and trained to do things that are more effective than medications for a long period of time, that says something. You know what I mean? That can help people um, and immediately take away pain or change trauma and things like that. There is no medication that can change trauma. But when
Totally
you've
agree. Yeah.
been trained and you can take away someone's trauma,
Mm.
that's huge, huge. Or stop blood from just gushing from someone and slow it down or stop it temporarily. Now, can I explain how all of that happens? No. But am I amazed and grateful? Yes. That is amazing. With emergency hypnosis and stuff, I never knew that was a possibility. But the patient, the client, is also doing it as well. We're walking, so many people are walking around in a form of hypnosis daily and don't even realize it. Me, I've done it and didn't even realize it. And then when they started talking to us about that, I was like, that's true. When you're walking around in your day and you're thinking about what have I got to do next and blah, 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 and your mind's in a million different directions and you're just kind of walking through the house in your head, you're in a form of hypnosis. Or you're so focused on something that you're doing that nothing around you are you paying attention to. Guess what? You're in a form of hypnosis. It's crazy. So, I don't know. I'm really excited about being able to help people in this way. So, and I think I'm even going to go down to some of the colleges. And you know how when you have to take the exam to go into grad school or to take the law um, bar exam and stuff like this, and I don't care how smart you are, I had to take an exam to get into grad school, and I was terrified. I'm going to go put flyers up there to offer hypnotherapy to take the exam so they remember it easily and it takes the anxiety down, etc. And I'm going to offer a 50% discount for students.
Nice.
I wish Someone had been there to do that for me before I had to take my exam because I was like this the whole time, sweating bullets, not knowing if I could remember everything. Now think about that. How hard it is to remember all that stuff you studied. Seriously, because I have a learning. I had a learning disability where you know how people will study the night before and cram it and then remember it just like that. I had to literally learn everything. I was not capable of memorizing like that. For me to retain stuff, I had to literally learn it all.
Hmm.
I had a memorizing problem. So it was harder for me than most people. But mm, I got way off topic. I went, "Ree." But yeah, my book for, I mean, I've got it in my book now, and that's what we're studying, and they give us workbooks. But when they started talking to us about EMP, it was such a different foreign topic than anything I'd ever studied. I went ahead and bought the book. It's a used book, but I want it as a in my hand when I talk to people about it further because I know I'm gonna have people coming in with relationship problems, and I want to draw a diagram and put printouts for them so I can say, "Here, this is part of the problem."
Yeah, it's like a reference. It's usually like a reference guide for you. Just
Yeah.
you
So this is why your picker's off. Do you want me to help you with your picker? And then when I start making more money, I'm going to develop that app.
Yep.
So when they start to pick somebody wrong, it goes, eh. Hey, JC Bear. Long time no see. You have to rewind. We were talking about emotional suggestible people and physical suggestible. Oh, and here's the other thing that's cool. When I go to do hypnotherapy with people, I also determine if they're an emotional suggestible or physical suggestible or somnambulist. A somnambulist means they're 50% emotional and 50% suggestible. And when you get a somnambulist, they are the easiest in the world to hypnotize. They go down like a rock because they're a piece of both. But a physical suggestible it's put under hypnotherapy one way, and an emotional suggestible is put under a whole different way. And you use certain words to put them under.
Hmm.
Like with an emotional, I would put words that would say, you might feel the wind blow across your face, right? I would use the word feel the wind blow across your face. What do you think I would use with a physical suggestible? It doesn't have to do with wind, but what would something that I would use with a physical that was literal?
Hmm. Sure. Hmm. I'm not sure of that.
I might say, in a moment, the wind will blow and how would I do it? The wind will blow and leaves will brush across your face. Because that's literal. Leaves will brush across your face.
Okay.
The other one was feeling. You may feel the wind. You may feel, right? Because it's in fur. You may feel. But the other one's like, a book will hit you on your head. Something literal.
Literally.
I wouldn't say that in hypnosis, but you. So you have to do things very different because of how they experience things in the world. So that's how it goes. And that's why, I mean, there's a million scripts you give me. I haven't used scripts yet, and it's gone well. But that's why we now know, and it can take somebody a little longer, but that's why we now know that anyone can be hypnotized. Anyone. Where once upon a time, a person would think, I can't be hypnotized. I'm too smart. Or someone so tried before and I didn't go under. Well, Dr. Kappas was smart enough to do different things, and this EMP, emotional and physical, and him studying these series and studying different people made him realize if you approached these personalities differently, that they were capable of having hypnotherapy done on them just by realizing what personality type they were and how they took in message units and suggestions. And it also helped them find the right partners in their life. Interesting, huh?
Yeah, very, very interesting. Yes.
When you put all of those tidbits together,
Yeah.
because if it works for hypnotherapy with the message units and the personality type and being able to put them in hypnotherapy, it also works for connecting them with a proper partner because it's the brain. You're connecting them. You're connecting the wires to the right person. Just like you were able to connect them and put them under hypnotherapy when other people could not. That one smart man.
Definitely. Because you like when you think about it, before this, let's say you say, oh, not everybody can be put under.
Right.
So because you're doing like a basic across the board, the same for everybody.
Yeah.
This way, it's is more than just across the board. Everybody's on. It's gonna be a little different,
Yeah.
different approach for different people.
And like I said, I was taught hypnosis in grad school. But when I came here, I'm learning things I never learned before. And that's why I'm so amazingly impressed. And it's helping people in ways I've never seen. And then I had a few little special skills of my own that I got intuitively, spiritually. So you had my own little weird skills and then things I'm learning, and it's like kapow, perfectly aligned. So the more people, I don't like to see people in pain. Bottom line, has bothered me since I was a little kid. I don't like to see people in pain. I want to see people happy and following whatever it is that they're seeking to follow, whether it's their passion, their career, love life, whatever it is. People shouldn't be stuck in a box in pain. That's not what's supposed to be happening. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I can't sit back and watch any living thing in pain, except maybe a wasp, a poisonous snake, things like that. That's where I can cross the line a little bit. Anything else, I have to help because it's just part of my DNA. So if I say something is amazing, this is amazing. John Kappas was from his family was from Greece, and they came over here, and he tried other things. And in his neighborhood, people would come to him with problems all the time from a very young man. And he'd owned restaurants and all of this stuff, and he learned hypnotherapy. And long story short, before he knew it, him and his brother had started this college, and it grew and grew and grew. And he came up with these series, and then he was noticed by other people. He ended up getting a PhD, and he wrote these books, and this stuff's just amazing. So I don't mean to bore you guys with it, but if I
No,
learn stuff and I want to share it, there's a reason.
I don't think it's boring at all.
I mean, look how much we don't know about our brain. But if you guys are out there dating, like I said, don't put stuff out there. Don't look for yourself. Don't look for people like yourself. You need to change it up a little bit. Change the information you're putting down to look for people different than you, the opposite things that you would like to see in a person on your, what is it called? On your sheet where it identifies yourself, put opposite stuff
Like a
in your
profile.
profile. Yeah. And you'll have more success. Try it. Try it for a week. Try it for 2 weeks and see what happens. Change that profile up. Don't go to the extreme now. But you'll see what I'm saying. And look at emotional, suggestible, and physical suggestible EMP relationship strategies, Dr. John Kappas, and just read up on it because it's going to give you a lot of aha moments, even if you're already married. And so, is any, what would you be your takeaway from this?
My takeaway, it's well, from let's just say when I first tonight when we first started talking about it, it's changed my thinking about different things, even being married, not so much even people looking for their partner, but even being married, just to see the differences in how you sort of match up with each other and how it sort of fits a little bit if you're together. It's something I wouldn't have thought about unless I happened to come this live stream. I wouldn't even think of that at all. So it makes you think. Definitely makes you think.
You can go, oh, they can't help it. That's how they take in information. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm real inferential and they're literal. So if we know that about each other, we can kind of change the way we communicate. If we understand that now, and then it might change the flow of things.
Yep. I agree. I mean, it's like I said, I wouldn't even haven't thought about anything like that with the the literal and the emotional and all that stuff. I wouldn't even. But the short time tonight, I'm thinking, wow, that is something, and this the same thing with the people looking for their partner, whether they're on apps or whatever, and, what they looking for in a person. Like I said, they're mainly looking for themselves.
Yeah, I know,
today,
right?
today they're looking for themselves, and it's like you wonder why there's very little
Your
success.
picker is messed up.
Yeah, you gotta, so they alter that picker a little bit.
But anyway, I guess I better go because my husband is waiting to eat until I get off here. But I
Okay,
promised y'all I would come on Sunday,
nice.
and I did. I kept my promise. Thank you so much for coming up with
My
me.
pleasure. I'm glad I did.
It's so nice to have somebody come up with me
Yeah.
instead of me just talking by myself.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sure. Should I come up? Because when you dropped the link, I said, "Oh, maybe nobody else is coming up. Let me, you know." Otherwise, I wasn't sure if I should come up. But when you dropped the link, I said, nobody's coming up. I'll just see. Come up for a
No,
while.
I love it when somebody comes up with me. Let me be honest. So much nicer than me just talking. So come up anytime.
Sure. No, I will now in the future if I feel a little more comfortable doing it.
Good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it greatly. But
Well, I
anyway,
hope you have a great evening, Dana.
thank you so very kindly. I appreciate you. Y'all enjoy the rest of your holiday. Thank you for coming. Oh, yeah, please hit that like button.
Yes, everybody, hit the like on your way out if you haven't.
And Steven's still looking for a job. I feel like it'll end up okay in the end.
I'm
We're
sure it
trying
will.
to keep our heads straight. You can't panic and get anything done.
Right.
And if you know anybody that needs hypnotherapy, throw my name out there. It's called, I'm officially a business, it's called Healing Integrative Hypnotherapy. But y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. Love you so very much. Thank you. Take care of yourself. And remember, flip your picker. Talk to you all later. I love you so much. And I appreciate you so much more than you'll ever know. Everybody, take it easy and let's go. Remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Go, go.
Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave.
Hi, everybody.
I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my